his efforts. He has also previous positions in service, sales, marketing, and various activities. So your personality is round, and I'm sure that you will enjoy his presentation.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. You guys made my presentation very easy. Eli talked about social networks, e-learning, and group learning. Sheila talked about the growing and the importance of growing. That satisfaction is different from two different parts of Europe. So if you want to keep it satisfied in Central Europe, it's different from Western Europe. Khaled talked about Gallup, which is also the part that I'm going to refer to. And Vin talked about asking the staff what do they want and to wow the customer. So my presentation is done. Do you like it? Now, I have a challenge here to present a case study about engaging the digital generation, the younger guys. The case study, in a summary, we are a 20-year-old company working in Saudi Arabia, which is considered an old company in measures of Saudi Arabia. And we have a hiring policy of hiring only fresh graduates. So all our managers are an internal breed. We don't hire managers from outside. So that gives us a challenge that we always have an average age of hire around 22, 23. The company average age is 28 because of me. and that's a problem, because the older people really find themselves in a different tone, different frequency with the fresh graduates that we hire. So the parameters of our case study today are as set forth. Am I blocking here, Mike? Sorry. Why engagement? Who are the Digitalians? GMC environment, the environment we work in, Gulf Medical Company, GMC. The process that we took, our findings, and the conclusion. And as you can see from the presentation, it's not a PowerPoint, and I tried as much as possible to be as Digitalian as possible. So I got my son, who's 15 years old, and I told him to do the presentation. So that's the outcome. So why engagement? As mentioned by Khaled, this is the book actually that was published by Gallup that addressed the 12 elements of great management. And the results that Khaled presented, I'm going to present here again. They have stated the 12 elements that address this point. So why engagement? We've been in the field 28 years. For the past 9 years, 8 years, we've been doing excellent growth in sales and marketing. Market expansion, geographic expansion. We have 2 offices from Saudi. We have 2 offices now in Emirates. We cover Bahrain. Geographic expansion done. New companies acquired, done. Horizontal expansion, done. So what's next? Now, always a curve that goes up. When it reaches the peak, you expect it to continue to go up. So we wanted to know how to continue to go up. So we looked at the one capital, the one resource that we didn't fully utilize, and that was HR. So we thought, excellent, we've done excellent in sales, we've done excellent in marketing, geographic expansion done, the sales, the acquisition, okay, so what's next? Let's go around and see what we can do with the current staff that we have, with the hiring policy that we have, having the young guys come into the company and see how we can excel further. So that was the reason we started looking into the HR part. As stated in the book by Gallup, 27% higher profitability. Perfect. That's the point. Let's play around in this. Now, you want to raise your bottom line? 50% higher levels of employee retention, 56% higher than average levels of customer loyalty, 38% average productivity ratings reported. What more can you ask for? This is what we decided to look into to have the next level up. So we wanted to have an implication. These are the 12 questions, or the 12 elements of great management, as stated in the book. Now, I'll go through them one by one quickly, but we will elaborate on them later. First thing, anybody in HR, what's your first concern? Job description. You know what? This is their concern as well. They want to know what they're doing. So first, I know what's expected of me at work. No buzzwords, no HR terminology, simple question. I know what's expected of me at work. I have the materials and equipment I need to do my work right. You hire a driver, you don't have a car. Excellent formula. At work, I have the opportunity to do what I do best every day. In the last 7 days, I have received recognition or praise for doing good work. I think Imad mentioned 100 ways to say thank you. In the last 7 days, and when we showed this to the managers, the 7 days is very short. We expanded a little bit. I was off for 2 days. 7 days. You have an employee that works for a week, and you don't even tell them that he's doing right. He'll stop doing whatever he's doing because you didn't even recognize it. My supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. There's someone at work who encourages my development. At work, my opinions seem to count. The mission or purpose of my company makes me feel my job is important. My associates or fellow employees are committed to doing quality work. The team, Naveen. I have a best friend at work. In the last 6 months, someone at work has talked to me about my progress, career development. This last year, I have had opportunities to work to learn and grow. So how did Gallup come about to find these 12 questions? We do satisfaction surveys every year. We've been doing satisfaction surveys all the lifetime, half the lifetime of the company. That's not exaggerating. But our employee satisfaction survey, on average, 65 questions. Hit rate was less than 25%, 30%. We thought statistically that's solid. 25% was good. But this is what Gallup has done. Gallup has went around, found all the satisfaction surveys, and looked where the employees have paid attention most in the 60 questions. Around 13 million people, 300 and something companies, 114 countries. So the results are very solid. And they found out that these 12 questions, these 12 elements, are the concern of the staff. So that is super satisfaction concentration. If you cover these 12, you are on a very good track. Nothing guaranteed, but you're on a very good track. Now, are these the golden questions? Yes. But are they the only questions? No. Every company has its own culture, has its own work field, has its own criteria. So you have the 12 questions, and you build around them, not more than 6, please. You build around them the questions that are specific to your environment and criteria, so you can catch the engagement of your staff. Now, of course, you put the demographics if you want to make sure that you're catching the right age. And I'll go on how we did that later on. So, why engagement? Again, Naveen, why engagement? Why non-satisfaction is enough? Is anybody in this room not married or have never been married before? Oh, then you have to leave. You're not going to understand what we're talking about here.
I'm not waiting.
So, everybody has gone, except those, unfortunately, everybody has gone through this process of being engaged. Can anybody remember how it felt when you were engaged?
Very different, at least.
That's exactly what I mean. Can anybody not recall the energy and the feeling during that state of mind? Actually, this is the challenge our wives give us. Remember when we were engaged? Oh yes, I remember. And you keep talking, and that's what we want. Do you want your staff to be like that? I think that's the challenge we're talking about. I went around the internet. I went around the business books. I went around the HR professionals. Nobody can tell me what engagement is. Commitment, hard work. They come on time. They leave late. That's not engagement, guys. I couldn't figure out. And when I saw Mehtap's presentation, that's it. You're engaged. It's an elective relationship. The marriage is an elective relationship. And you choose to be engaged. You're never forced to be engaged. And when you're engaged...
Engagement, not marriage. Marriage is not elective. At least for one party.
I'm on video. I don't want to go there. So, engagement is the best part of the longest elective relationship. It is the part where you are excited, you are energetic, you have all the drive to do the best. You don't need an external catalyst to tell you, come early, be on time, don't forget the flowers. Flowers? Of course I have the flowers in the car from yesterday. Of course. What? Can we have our staff that engaged? Well, if that's the engagement state of mind that we can get our staff to, bingo, this is what we got. This is what we need. So can we have our staff, our employees, that engaged? Good aspect. Now, we thought, well, we do the satisfaction survey every year. You know, the results are excellent. We have 15%, 20% hit rate on the satisfaction survey. The results are excellent. You know, we're fine. So, we decided to ask them because we realized that whatever works today for this generation might not work for the next generation. So we decided to ask using the 12 questions. Gallup Management Journal indicated that us as the senior people, general comment of the employees in the company, are only 29% are actively engaged. 54% are not engaged. They come to work. Yes, they do come to work, but they're not engaged. Now the dangerous part is 17% of the staff are actively disengaged. You know what does that mean? You have 17% of your company that are sick with an infectious disease that actually destroys what the 29% are doing. So these guys work hard to improve the company, and you have 17% that go and destroy that. And remember this, you're sitting in a group, in a company, and say, you know what, I like my manager. And the first guy next to him says, you what? How much are they paying? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like him. And the negative is always much more stronger than the positive. So those 17% are enough to destroy what the rest of the company is doing. At least what the 29% is doing. So you are actually driving just with the 54% that are coming to work in the morning and just by 10 o'clock, like Brian said, by 10 o'clock, they're checking what's the next available job. So the challenge is engaging the Digitalians. The word satisfaction does not satisfy anymore. It has to be engagement. So engagement now is the target. Okay, we're talking about the Digitalians. Who are the Digitalians? What is the definition of a generation? So what is a generation? In biology, when you talk about generation, it's the time between the parent and the offspring. So you're talking about 20-something years. Okay? But now, you're talking about the TV generation. That was probably my generation or a bit before that. My kids call me the black and white generation, because you guys didn't have color, so all your suits are gray or dark blue. Of course, because you didn't have colors in TV, so how can you know that people were wearing pink? How did you know? So you had to guess, that's why. So, and I have one T-shirt that has pink in it. The kids love it when I wear it. Oh, at least it's not black. So, or it's a stage or period of sequential technological development and innovation. We refer to the TV age, the color TV age, the iPod age, the Facebook age. Now, Dr. Glenn Pace from Missouri State University presented this in his lecture in one of the HR conferences in Egypt. He divided the generation timeline as matures and veterans. Don't write this down, this is not right. The matures and veterans are born before 1946, before the World War II. The baby boomers are after the World War II, Second World War, and the Xers are after 1965, and the Nexters are after 1981, and it has own criteria for each one of them. But is this applicable to our part of the world? The Americans had to fly for the Second World War. We were in the middle of it. The Middle East did not go anywhere. So our workforce are not affected by the baby boomer stage. Our workforce received the technological development a bit later than the West, the Americans specifically, and then the Europeans as well. Now that means our timeline for generation in this part of the world is different. If our workforce are from the Middle East or from the Far East, we have to recognize a different timeline for them. Now the second question is, if we were talking about the sequential technological development, now how fast is that? Can anybody remember when Facebook started? 5 years? 6 years, right? Do you remember the time when you didn't have Facebook? Not you. Can any of you guys remember when Facebook was not there? Now, Facebook is, somebody was mentioning yesterday, MySpace, and MySpace is gone already. Now, you're still using Hotmail? Oh, that's old stuff. Now there's more developed stuff. So how fast is this moving? That's the question now. So, not anymore. With the technological development, generation is only 5 to 6 years. The Facebookers, the people who don't live without a Facebook, did not have Facebook 5 years back. Now we were addressing, Eli was addressing that, is social networking in the work field, is it a productivity killer? Or is it a media for these people to communicate? We were stranded in the airport in Jeddah for 7 hours. 3 o'clock in the morning, my son has an iPad. For people who I think it's not an iPad. iPad is the new one, right? I'm sorry. It's the iPod. An iPod doesn't have a telephone connectivity. It has a Wi-Fi. So we were sitting in the airport. He logs on to the business lounge Wi-Fi, and he puts his status on Facebook, stranded in the airport. We are 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? What? 3 o'clock in the morning, what are you doing? Say, hey, you're making fun of me? Look at this. 3 replies already. 3 o'clock in the morning. These guys are on Facebook. He's on Wi-Fi, they're on their computers, and they're communicating. Now imagine these guys, oh, another one. I have a 12-year-old who's got a BlackBerry. When he told me, Dad, you know what, I want a BlackBerry, I took him to the fruit market. And he goes, Daddy,